if you're a married man, or you have a girlfriend or a partner, and you truly love them, and you want to know how you can help them in midlife. In other words, if you want to be a happy man later on in your life and probably not die alone because she will leave you, you need to listen up. Today's discussion will be focused on symptoms that are less spoken about in menopause. And if you want to be a happy man later on in your life, you need to listen up. Why do you need to listen up? Because in midlife, the symptoms that we are going through in perimenopause, that is a period before we hit menopause, and postmenopause, do not only look crazy to you, they are driving us nuts. It is so much to handle, yet we do it and we move on. But you know what else happens? We are done with BS. We can't take it. So, this discussion today is dedicated, as always, to all my sisters out there, but even more to the men in our lives. There are many symptoms that present themselves in a woman's life during midlife. We spoke about them in my other video. I'm gonna link it here, up here, or up here somewhere, or in the description. If you haven't watched it, it's trending. Go on and look at it and watch it, because it expounds more on these symptoms and the changes that we experience during perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause between the years of as early as 30 or 35 all the way to 50, all the way to 60. We discussed the common symptoms that present themselves and people are even able to notice, like weight gain, hot flashes. We can't hide those, because when they hit you, you can't hide it. You can't hide that you're hot and you want cool air and you want space. Mood swings. When we are upset, you will see it, right? But there are many symptoms that may not be visible. I'm quickly just gonna go through some of the symptoms that we discussed in the other video: hot flashes and night sweats, sleep problems, weight gain, mood changes, breast pain, headaches. Really, when she says she's having a headache, it's not just a headache, it's a migraine for some. It is so bad she can barely handle that. And all that because of the hormone that we're going to be discussing today is estrogen. Lack of it. And other hormones. Cognitive and memory changes, joint pain, changes in the hair, skin, and eyes, hearing changes, dental concerns, bone changes, cardiovascular issues, especially post-menopause. And why these changes? All because of a hormone called estrogen. Now, when I was doing my research earlier on, I came across this woman who was very vocal, Susan Somers, who used to describe menopause phase as being, I wrote it down, itchy, bitchy, sleepy, sweaty, bloated, forgetful, and all dried up. It's not even funny. But for some women, it is that desperate. It feels horrible. Anyway, Susan Somers has since died. May she rest in peace. But she was very vocal and one of the women who really put the issue of menopause out there to inform people and educate people, and I respect her for doing that. Her views were not always agreed upon. I am not promoting that. I am just saying she's one of the vocal women who helped bring this subject to light, and I think we owe her gratitude. So all those symptoms that we experience in midlife, and many more. But what about the less spoken about symptoms? The symptoms that even we women will probably not talk about amongst ourselves. Why? Because they feel like they are very intrusive. Genitourinary syndrome. These are symptoms that are connected to the vagina. It's personal, it's private, we don't want to talk about it, and it's one of the areas where when we suffer, the men in our lives will suffer too. they will notice it. The symptoms are vaginal dryness, pain during intercourse, itchiness, scratchiness, and a lot of discomfort. It could be bleeding during or after intercourse, sexual intercourse. Why? Because the vagina is a muscular muscle, and it depends on estrogen to remain in good stretchy condition that makes life easy, expansion during childbirth and also during intimacy. And lack of estrogen has a direct effect on the vagina. So you see why it is hard for a woman to discuss these symptoms, and why it is important for a woman to know that it's not something crazy that is happening to her. She needs to go and talk to her gynecologist and her doctor and see what can be done, because if she's suffering so much that it's impacting the quality of her life, she needs help. If it's impacting the quality of your life to the point that you're so unhappy, or you're not enjoying your life, your marriage, your partnership because of all these changes, then you need to see a doctor and find out what can be done. What can be done? There is therapy, there's creams, there's patches. That is what is called hormone therapy. This is not something that you can go get over the counter. It is something that the doctor would prescribe, but they need to know your history first, because not every woman qualifies for it. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I will not go into the details of that. My desire here is to share this information, because I have come to know that there are so many women out there who do not even have this information. My goal is to educate and inform. Your duty as a woman or a supporting partner is to help them do their research, do your own research, find a doctor if you don't have one, or if you're able to access one. Note all your symptoms down. Go have this conversation with your doctor. No need to suffer. In the early stages of perimenopause, you may begin to notice a slight decrease in the amount of vaginal lubrication you feel with sexual arousal and during sexual activity. This is often one of the first signs that estrogen is declining. As time goes on, you may notice a whopping dip in the amount of lubrication that you feel during sex. You may also notice vaginal dryness during daily activities, such as running or your physical activities. When you're in the gym, you will notice that dryness around that area. Dryness may lead to discomfort and itchiness. All these sensations are very common and are a result of declining estrogen and decreased blood flow to your vagina. Most women experience some loss of fullness and thinning of the vagina during menopause. In some cases, it can be progressive and severe. As the walls thin, the vagina becomes less flexible. During sexual activities or even during a pelvic exam, it can make sex very painful or even impossible. Changes to the vaginal tissues can lead to infections, irritation, redness, vaginal burning, and discharge. Similar changes can happen with the urethra, leading to painful urination, frequent urination, or leaking urine. Now, do you see why these symptoms are hard to talk about? Are you starting to understand why a woman can suffer silently? It's not your everyday topic, but I want us to make this a common discussion among women, and a common discussion among partners, couples. She has been there for you. Now I'm talking directly to the men who are here, who care, and who will watch this and will probably share this with their wives and partners. She has been there for you. She bore you children. You had good times when she was younger. this is your time to show support. If you've been a jerk, if you've been behaving as if you own the recipe to jerk chicken, it's about time to change. Be nice. Support her. She will support you. There are so many surprising symptoms in perimenopause and during and after and post-menopause, from breast tenderness, excess body hair, heavy clotting periods, or fibroids also get worse for those women who perhaps suffer from that. There's tinnitus or ringing of the ears. Some women even experience trouble swallowing or difficulty swallowing. Crawling, when you feel like crawling on your skin. I have experienced that. I thought something was crawling on me. Anyways, so some of those symptoms are headaches, migraines, low libido due to decline in testosterone in women. We have that too. Anxiety and many other symptoms. Men also have symptoms that decline in their midlife, testosterone. And we do know that there's a pill out there that they can use when they see their doctor. What we are experiencing in midlife as women is similar, and there is hormone therapy that can help women who suffer more from the loss of the hormone estrogen. It's not a total replacement, no. We are not escaping our normal path of life, that normal aging. No, we are not escaping that. We are only saying that all women don't go through midlife and menopause the same way. Some women will suffer more than others. That is why it is important for a woman to know herself, have a bit of self-awareness, so that when these symptoms start hitting you, you are aware. You know that those are the changes in your body, and you know that you can address them. So that brings us to the end of our discussion today. We have looked at the symptoms that are less talked about and that are very difficult for women to talk about. I have shared that information with you, and as always, I'll end by asking you to take note of your symptoms, write them down, jot them down, take those notes with you to the next discussion that you have with your doctor, and ask them how they can help. There is a way that they can help. There's no way they should say that they don't know how, because it is becoming knowledge out there, and doctors are getting all this information way before we do. Now, one thing I'm loving about doctors right now is that they're saying we did not know this information before. We were not taught fully on this topic when we went to medical school. That's what the doctors are saying. I'm not a doctor. Every doctor I have heard say that gains my admiration. Why? Because they're coming out and telling us the truth. They're saying we didn't know these things, but now we do. And we are willing to help women. So if you're stuck with a doctor who is still not interested in learning these things, or you're stuck with a doctor who is not interested in helping women, I would say look for another doctor. And good luck if you live in a place where it's hard to find a doctor, and good luck in finding one, and good luck in finding help. Why do we need women to get together and talk about these things? Because when one woman knows something, when one woman identifies a doctor who can help them, we are good at referring each other. We refer each other to our hairdressers, we refer each other to our fashion sources. Why can't we refer each other to medical doctors? We should do that, so long as they are real doctors, and whatever recommendations or prescriptions they are going to give you has been approved by the medical board. I would never advocate for people to go trying stuff out there that is not approved by the board. That's why I will say over and over every time I talk about this topic, go see your doctor. Ask them about it and let them be the ones to guide you. For us here, it's just to share information and gain knowledge. Having said that, I come to the end of today's video. Please subscribe and share this video with other women in your circles, and even with the men who need to know this knowledge. Today's video was dedicated to the men in our lives who need to know these things because we need their support. It's not a solo journey. Now, if you haven't watched my earlier video that I spoke extensively about menopause and the stages, it will be linked, or it will be next, it will show up. Please go watch it and share it and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.